at speed to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. So loud as the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as from the top, we're gonna be.
Let's try again. Am I with us now? I'm going to try once more and say hello, welcome. It is Monday afternoon here in Central Europe, and hopefully my audio is being nice to me now because, well, apparently just before I went live, my system decided to do an update, and every time it does that, apparently it throws off the audio. So I have to remind them that, hey, I do have a microphone. So it's just like, no input selected. I'm like, yeah, it was selected. I do apologize for that. I do believe it's some it only drops on some of them. I don't know. It's, I guess, what it is. As I wanted to say, I've been busy. But good morning, wonderful to see you all. I do see we do have a few lurkers here. Absolutely wonderful. Hello, Susanna. That has been a while. Hope everything is well down south in Australia. But yeah, it is Monday, 2:12 p.m. here in Central Europe, and I was going to finish up the GingerTea Cowl. I have been working, and the thing is, then afterward I read the pattern and I was like, it actually says not to block because she thinks it's nicer without, but I think it needs blocking because of these are not like set as this should be. But this is basically where we are at. And I followed the pattern to the point, and I just have 3 rows to go. Yay me! Which means that I'm expecting us to finish this during this live, and then we can decide on what project to work on next. I have 2 possible projects to work on with you guys that we can do afterwards, but there is no really reason to look into those yet. Hello, Helle, wonderful to see you. Hope you're doing well. And I actually just wanted to throw in a little bit of background music for me as well, but I am sorry that I cannot share that with you guys because, well, something with YouTube and everything else, but apparently I need to verify that I'm me. Which really shouldn't be a problem, actually, but that's cool. Then we are gonna go down also to the dual camera view so you can see what I am doing. I need to check where we are. As I said, I have 3 rows to go. That is what I've counted because I did all of the bodies, which is basically quite simple. There's a couple of puff stitch, like chain 2, puff stitch, chain 2, puff stitch, and then it's front post or back post, double crochet, and then it's 3 double crochets, and then again the same, etc. Which kind of helps you give this my computer is a bit old. It starts to complain about doing too many things at once, which is kind of sad. Let's see. And of course, this only shows that's not good. We want to catch track of everything. Anyhow, I have done until with row 41 at least. Maybe I should count again because I tend to do miscount sometimes. And then we'll have a look. Let's see. There we have audio for me. And dual camera view. And we are heading down, down, down. I've been working with a 3.5mm crochet hook. It is the Azalea yarn from Hobby. And this is well, technically I should turn it like this for you to see it correct. But all of these, they are supposed to kind of, well, they don't sit correctly. So I want to block these just to have them sitting correct in the, it looks nicer because now they're like all uneven and so on. So I do need to block this, I personally think. And what we wanted to do was just to count if I actually did the correct amount of rows. So basically it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40, and 41. That fits. I did remember correct. I count correctly. Okay, so the 42nd row we'll need to chain 2, 1 puff stitch, chain 2, 1 puff stitch, and then into the, well, into that puff stitch page. So I have these puff stitches all the way on this edge. You may have noticed both of the edges have these puff stitches, so that is where we do those. And then it's gonna be 1 front post double crochet around the back post double crochet below, 3 double crochets, 1 popcorn, 3 double crochets, etc. 19 times. So how do they do these popcorn stitches? I need to see what they classify because it seems to be different from creator to creator how they do them. So I'm just gonna check double crochet 3 together cluster. That is not what we're looking for. Puff stitch, no. Picot, popcorn. Make 4 double crochets on the same stitch. Remove the hook from the loop. Insert the hook from front but back on the first double crochet. On the 4 double crochets you make, grab the loop and pull it through. Yeah, okay. We should be okay. Insert the hook from front to back on the first double crochet. Yeah, I'll read that once more, but that sounds familiar. I just want to make sure I do it correctly, obviously, because I tend to, I don't know, squirrel mine somewhere else. And I'll just fold up my cuffs a bit. It's not super warm here actually. It's like we had some warmer days, and the last day where it was like kind of warmish here was let's see, I need to have it correctly set. It's because I need to look at it like this. It was like Saturday, and now it's just like gonna be rain and 21, 22 degrees, and rain and 21, 22 degrees for like the next week or two. Rather, what one would call boring weather for summer. It also means that for me it's a little bit chillier indoors. Um, so yeah, I'll dress up a bit. One, two. We'll do the puff stitches here, and then I had to do the front post double around. So basically what I need to do is every second, what I used to have front posts, so that would be this one where I have the front post, normally would have done the front post. That is where I'll need to do the popcorns, but I only need to do them like every second. For those wondering, I do have the yarn in my yarn crate next to me. I will have yarn left after this. And I may use that yarn for like combine it with another. I do have another full cake of these, and I'll probably make a bigger shawl combining those yarns together. I can imagine me doing that. Why not stretch it a bit longer when it is possible? So that is probably what I'll be doing. So now we are at this popcorn friend, and they set 4 double crochets in the same stitch, so that is not the problem. So I can definitely do that. But yeah, I'll have a bit of yarn left, but what I will do, I will classify the skein as finished because I'm not sure yet what project I'll be making from it. Plus, once I finish the other project, that will be a considered finished object. Good, so that is where we are. Now let's see, that was the 4 double crochets. Then remove the hook from the loop, insert the hook front to back in the first double crochets of those 4. That will be this one. And then grab the hook, pull it through, make a chain to close the stitch. Well, that is simple. And then popcorn finished. Yay! And then we'll do another 3 double crochets. Then I'll do a front post double crochet in the back post from the previous row. And then we'll do another 3 double crochets, and then we'll do another popcorn. And that is basically how it's going to progress all the way to the end of this shawl. So that's basically what we are up to right now. Yeah. It's 163 stitches across, if I remember correct. 160 some at least, which means that I am quite sure we can finish this one today, which is awesome. That was my goal for this week, to have this shawl finished. But also because I believed I could do that, obviously. And then we'll need to find some new projects to work on. I do have some in my mind. Some of them I'll first probably get started on like tomorrow, but I do have 2 things that I do want to work on. And those I have here next to me for the event that we can. Oh, no. I pulled the loop too far out. We'll redo that double crochet. The multi-million dollar question, would I rather make puff stitches opposed to popcorn stitches? I think popcorns probably are easier, especially with multiple strands yarn like this, because you make them as individual double crochet and not as a so many times yarn over and then needing to afterwards pull through all those loops. In this case, it's a 4-stranded yarn, and the more times I need to yarn over and put up a loop and yarn over and put up a loop, etc., the more strands are on the hook that I need to pull through, and the more likely the stitch is likely to tease you, if I may say it like that. So I think I'll take the popcorn above the puff. On the other hand, the benefit of the puff is you don't need to remove the hook completely from the stitch. So I guess it's a question of temperament. So if you have to choose, do you have any preferences stitch-wise? Would you rather do popcorn stitches or would you rather do puff stitches? I think I may prefer the puff stitches, but on the other hand, yeah, I don't know. They both have benefits and disadvantages, I guess. So that is basically what I'm doing. I'm doing a front post double, then I'm doing 3 doubles, everything in the following stitch, and then I'll do a popcorn stitch, 3 double crochets, front post, etc. So what I need to do to be able to finish this shawl is I do have a few things I need to do still. I need to block, at least lightly block. I do want to block this top part with the picots. And then afterwards, I do need to create a few buttons because this cowl needs 4 buttons sewn onto it. And I don't have, well, I may have buttons somewhere, but I want to create my own buttons to place in it. They need to be sewn on, and then we can call it finished. But the crocheting part we should finish today. How soon I will have time to make those buttons kind of depend on a few things. But I do have a bunch of things I do want to do, both this week, this month. But yeah. On another news front, I signed up for the local fitness center. I kind of needed to do that for a while. And now I finally made the move, so to say. Because otherwise I have too many excuses. And I'm more likely to use it because I paid for it. And it seems like a waste if you don't then use it. So that will be the short version of it. And there I have an appointment tonight, but it also means that I will have a little bit less time for crocheting, but it is important to keep your body healthy and fit. And for me, it's just been, I've just been waiting too much, postponing it too much, knowing that it was kind of necessary. Part of it is also my old job that I had, which I had like a year ago. I just didn't have the energy to do anything but, you know, work, sleep, eat, repeat, and some crocheting in between. That was a really unhealthy job for me, to say the least. To say the least. The job I have now definitely gives me more energy, or I keep more energy over. So that is a good thing. I do need to do quite a bit for it tomorrow. Also, I had quite a bit to do for it when I got home last week from vacation. All these pending tasks. But that's cool. It's that is what happens also in a reality life. And we will see how that goes. And I had to finish value add taxes for the small business. And yeah, I don't know, June has just seemed to have flown by like so quickly. I'm not sure if I'm the only one having that experience, but June literally just passed by. Like, there's so many things that I thought I would have done by now, and I haven't done half of it. Would I have done more? I maybe. Could I have done more? I'm not so sure. Sometimes you just need to, I don't know, be yourself. I'm also slightly behind on Fleur. But that I know. And I think I should have some time to work on that this week as well, because the temperature outside kind of allows me to. It's not boiling hot. It's been really like July has been a warm month. Like end of June, begin July has really been warm here. So that's definitely also had an impact, I guess, on the willingness or preparedness to work on it. And then sometimes I just had a project where I was like, oh, I'd really like to finish this one before anything else. And then it just had priority. Just like the GingerTea Cowl this week has priority. Yeah, I'll be doing the 4 buttons on this cowl according to the pattern. So that is why I need to create 4 buttons. I do have resin molds for creating buttons, and that is the intention, to create 4 blue buttons. I actually have a test button that I made. It is though not blue, but the size is the right one. I can find it if you just give it me a minute. I'll just do this front post double, and then I'll see. That should be laying there. Should have it somewhere in. I don't think I left it behind. It's just hiding. Yeah, there it is. Let's see if I can actually, well, I know this one is pink, but size-wise, it's the right one. It's not very kind. I think I need a little bit darker coloring. It starts going light and then we get it to dark. That was better. So there are small 4 holes here. And that is, well, it's purple, but it is a button. When I made my first test ones, they were these teal ones, but they are too teal, then I think the purple would work nicer, but I will want to make a blue one. And I will have to look at the colors where I'm placing the buttons and what will go with the buttons to see what blue would be the best match. But I need buttons of this size, if I do remember correct. The pattern should say 4 small buttons, 1.5 centimeters, which is ta-ta. This button is 1.5 centimeter, and 1.5 centimeter is half an inch, a bit more than half an inch. So this button is a bit more than half an inch size, and they're nice and light. So yeah, I'm looking forward to make those buttons actually. I wonder if, do you consider this too dark when I have it on the darkest setting, or is this working for you? I think actually it shows this maybe a bit nicer. So yeah, that is the plan, to make my own 4 buttons and put on. Because I think that would be making this piece a little bit more unique. Yeah, more or less. So there's a few more things I want to try to create with the resin, but some of it is also just a question of me taking the time to do it. I wanted to have gone live last week Wednesday, but there was just so many things I had to get on top of after coming home from vacation that I optioned to basically prioritize all those things. But today I missed you guys. So here I am. Here I am. Will I reach to block this and have the buttons finished and everything before Friday's yarn talk video? I do not know. This is me being bluntly honest. I genuinely do not know. It depends, because there's still a bunch of things I need to do for work. So I'm intending to do those more or less tomorrow if possible. Should be possible. But yeah, so far as you can see, we are making nice popcorn. Oh no! I've made a mistake here. Popcorn should be there. Dang it! I'm trying to use nice phrasings. Popcorn, 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 popcorn. No popcorn. Frogging time. Guess I got disturbed somewhere. It's what it is. It's okay. It's not too far. It's not a too far frock. I've tried worse. trying to look at it like this when I do frock it. It makes the piece perfect, hopefully, but more importantly, I get more pleasure out of the yarn because I get to use it again. Quote unquote. I guess it's more like the excuse I use to make me less sad about frocking. I made a mistake in those pot holders I've been working on, but I can't frock the piece, so I still need to figure out what to use that for. It's laying over here because that was one of the ideas, that was that we could make the correct one, making sure that I cut myself some slack on the front post trebles. Or we will start on the Capellina hats, but we are not there far yet. We still need to finish this row and do another 2 rows, and then V-Fensaments and consider the crocheting bits of the shawl finished. Then I will need to block it lightly. The main part that needs blocking is, as I said, those picots up here, to make sure they all like turn the right directions. I just think it looks nicer. I'm not sure necessarily. I feel that this needs lots of blocking, but we will give it a look. So yarn split. No yarn split anymore. Fixed. So yeah, we'll chip along, and we should be fine by finishing this. What are you ladies working on today? Ladies or gentlemen, for that matter. Are you working on anything right now, or just hanging out with me, listening to me while you're having a cup of coffee or relaxing? Hello, Elena. Wonderful to have you with us. Yeah, it is absolutely gorgeous colors. It just turns darker and darker. We may have one more color change happening before the end. But that color change will only make it turn a little bit darker than what it currently is. And I did option for the somewhat lighter version of the end of the cake. But I still think this works up really, really nicely. One more for the popcorn. And I just need to make sure I don't sit on the yarn with my arm. 2, 4. And here we go. So Elena says that she's working on a white lace crochet skirt. Oh, that sounds lovely. Yeah, lace crochet do take a long time. And you think it's worth it? I can tell you it will be worth it. You just need to keep patience. It will definitely be worth it. I find that the most intricate designs I make is usually with the finer, thinner yarns, and they are always looking fantastic. It just takes time. It's a patience project. Pineapple Stitch is gorgeous. And Ellie is telling she's trying to knit up one of the double-sided windmills. So she does like a mosaic type of knitting where it's knit on both sides at the same time, but it's also mirrored in the sense of, so if you have the image on one page on one side being white, the image on the other side might be green in the background color. So I'm not sure how to explain it otherwise. Maybe if I'm lucky, I can show it. Well, I actually do. I have some pot holders made in the same concept, which I can find if you want to know. But that's knit, and that is beyond my skills. Well, not knitting itself, but this type of knitting is definitely beyond my current knitting skills. As I told you guys, I am sort of semi-slowly working on this knitting projects, and I am gonna knit another hat soon. I have the yarns already caked up, ready to go. I just need to get started on it. But I have some plans, content-wise, so I can't just start on it because I need to do a few. Oh, that was not good, Stine. I was almost about not making. I need to make a popcorn stitch, but before I do that, I'm just gonna fetch those. So hang on here just for a minute, because it's just over here in my kitchen. And I will see what I have that could show them so nicely. This is not made by my mom. This is something I've got from her sister. So that is from my auntie. She does it as well. So I'm just going to put this slightly to the side for you guys to see. But this double-sided knit that I'm talking about is like, this is knit back forth, with a nice strap to hang it up one. It's a hot cup of either coffee or tea, whatever you want to say. And as you can see here, the background is pink, and the tea itself here is gray. Then and there's a nice border as well. If I then turn this around, you will find the cup is pink and the background is gray, like this. And this is knit at the same time. So it's not sewn together. It's kind of knit simultaneously. So you can like say, you can't like split them either because it is instantly knit. Well, you can where there are bigger pieces, but not where there are smaller pieces. So they're instantly made front back in the right colors. It's kind of cool. But I can tell you, and these is a little bit dusted and so on because these are used. I use them. I also have some others, but I think this was, because it had an image, quite nice to show. My mom is making some right now with some windmills. We could classify some Dutch windmills with white and then Delft's blue, which is a very classic Dutch color. It's like a very dark blue. Not navy blue, that's too dark, but somewhere in between. But it's so neat. I love them. So handy dandy. But I can't do that for my life. No, 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 not a chance. Not a chance. I leave it at those who can do that. That is what Helle is working on right now. It's just another, so this is a cup of coffee or tea. She's doing another pattern, but the concept of the knitting and what's been doing is kind of exactly the same thing. And it is for pot holders, like wrapping hot pots of the stuff, as an example. Or you can even also probably place them on top of them. But yeah, it's super cool. And I will admit I am not able to do it. Maybe I could. I think I could learn it if I really wanted to. But I am think I'm jumping over right now. A few other things I'd like to learn first, and I'm still totally in love with this knit pattern from Mayflower for this shirt, and I'm like, I would love to be able to do that. Like, but then on the other hand, maybe like, I started on the fitness. Maybe I could lose a little bit of weight, and then that would be awesome. Um, Goals set in stone. Then I wouldn't need so much yarn either. Hallelujah. Um, and I agreed with the doctor that they need to make sure that I have my mom for at least another 20 years because there are so many things I haven't learned yet. So that all got to wait just for a little longer. Oh no, I did it again. So I've gotten so used to all these rows where I just did front post, back posts every 4 stitches. Right now I'm almost about, oh no, this is really not going good. Then I have 2 puff stitches next to one another, or popcorns. I am not really sure what's going on here. I need to pay attention, ladies, and I'm apparently, sorry my words, piss poor at it. Excuse my French, but yeah. But it's okay, I can tell it about myself. You're always welcome to criticize yourself, and my own critic is definitely the hardest. And that, my friends, was just a mistake that shouldn't have happened. Luckily, there aren't too long, these rows, and I see them rather quickly. I do double check every few stitches, but I should check more often because try and imagine if I wouldn't have had to frog at all, we would probably have finished the row by now. I just need to pay attention. That is my issue. And that is my only issue right now. Pay attention. And I wouldn't need to do any frogging at all. So that looks correct. The next one, I need to do the popcorn. Elena says the comfort I give myself in frogging is that even when you're taking it apart, you're taking another step toward the finished project. It helps me a lot sometimes. Yes. Or think about it, you get double the value out of the same yardage. Because we also enjoy the process of it, right? So, it's somehow mindless. I just need to pay attention. That's guess why. Yeah. And I think it's because I've had all these rows. They all like the same. It's just repeats, 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 repeats. And suddenly it's not just the same. And that is what I'm like, not paying attention. But yeah, so I consider getting double value for the yardage when I frog. And it is another step towards a finished project that looks nice. That will be good. But there are projects that hurts more to frog than others when you realize the mistakes. And I'm a perfectionist, so I'll basically almost frog anything to make it good. Though there is one project where I have decided not to frog it when I found the mistake, and that is because the mistake is so minuscule that you will only know it's there if you really know how to look for it and you know where it is. And that is in my mosaic fleur blanket, which I'm gonna somehow finish this year, hopefully. That's a goal. And then if I still finish at Christmas, it's still be like almost 2 years to finish, which is way too long. But I've had so many other projects working on, so it's okay. But it is kind of confirmed to me that big blankets is probably not going to be my forte. It's sort of, it just takes too long. And that is for myself. I still haven't decided, but I think I do want to sew on a backside on it. The remnant says mistakes show that it's handmade and it's a fingerprint of the creator. That is very valid too. That is very valid too. I also once heard that the Amish people has this belief from God, obviously, that only God can create the perfect, so it is natural to leave the mistakes in the project. But I like the kind of concept of the prints of the creator, and also very valid. Some things I tend to like. Sometimes I like it different. So sometimes uh, it's a mistake, but you can recreate the mistake in a such manner that it looks like it's a natural part of it. I remember one time I started frocking something around my mom, and she said, "No, stop. No one is going to notice it. And if they do, they wouldn't dare saying anything because they know it wouldn't be able to make anything close to what you made." I decided to humor her. Oh, but probably true to some extent. And I think sometimes only handmade creators appreciate the time it takes to create something handmade. So I almost made the mistake again, but I only did one stitch. So it was only one frocking stitch. You know, I've always felt it should take so much quicker to do certain things, but I realize it's just not. And the amount of efforts I've put into this blanket is just crazy. Of course, I'm not sure if it feels like a lot. To some extent, yes. Because every full row is like 1.5 hours, maybe 2 hours almost now. And I still have like 35, 36 rows to go before I'm finished. So the amount of hours, like, if I would have to charge people to make it, people wouldn't be willing to even pay it because it's crazy. Um, I'm fine with some mistakes, but not all of them. I should be making. Oh no! I did it again. This is really crazy. I skipped the popcorn again. Oh man, 4 stitches away. Realizing that, skip the popcorn. Luckily, we're almost done. I think this project is telling me that we need to finish. I can't laugh about myself. Like, the amount of times I've frocked just this row alone, not like a few stitches back. You know, we've gone past counting on one hand. Which is cool, I guess, to some extent, but okay, next time I need to do the path. Trying to remember myself how the process are. Then we'll need to do the puff stitch here, so that is a 4 doubles in the same stitch. Yep. There we are. Revenant asks me if I'm the type of crocheter that has under 5 whips and more than 15. I have a stacked away whip that I am currently not sure if I will ever actually work on again. But it's in a yarn that's a pin that to frog, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. So it's just being there. Then I have the active whips that I'm actually actively working on. I have this one, which is almost finished. Then I have the fleur, which is my mosaic blanket. And then I have some pot holders where I kind of finished the first set, was first one. But the front side is need to be redone. And that's it. So I'm technically having 3, 4. 3, maybe 4 if you consider the one that I'm probably never ever gonna finish. Because it's just not gonna work out the way I thought it would, and I don't think it's gonna be nice enough to, like, I don't think I'm gonna like it enough, and I don't think it's gonna be nice enough to even consider selling. So I may just consider leaving it at that, if that makes sense. So I guess I usually don't have more than 5. So in that sense, I am a good girl, not creating too many whips. But there are so many whips I'd love to get started. You can usually follow the progress on my whips on my weekly yarn talk videos. I do post a video every Friday, with the exceptions of those Fridays when I'm not home. And those usually show any progress I'm making on my whips and which whips I currently have ongoing. So those are my yarn talks. Yeah. One row of my skirt takes me around 30 minutes, and I'm certainly lost count of the time I've made the entire row wrong and had to frog it all. It's very frustrating when it happens. Oh yes, definitely. I frogged a shawl back 25 rows this spring, which was pretty painful. But I had to because I had missed a couple of chain stitches. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's almost not seeable. Yeah, but the problem is I can see it. That's enough for me. If I can like see it and I can quickly find it, then that is when it needs frogging in my optics. But we all different. But yeah, if I can easily see it, I think it needs frogged. Because I want to make it perfect. But that's a me thing. I don't think you necessarily need to. It's personal. Revenant has 2 whips at the moment that she's flipping between. One king side must stitch blanket that I'm a bit overdone with. Oh yeah, I kind of can relate to the feelings of being. And that's what I have with this project that is a whip, but I'm not sure if I'll ever finish. I could sew it together and then just have it as a vest, maybe, and then like do some single crochet around the color and edging. I could consider that. That might work. But I'm still not 100% sure. Like, would I want to make that effort? Would people actually, would I wear it or would someone else wear it is really more the question. Do I think it's well enough? I think it's more a flaw at the design, to be honest, than the craft I did. So that was row 42 complete. The second is a fun pattern that makes a spiked granny on the front with a modern granny on the back. You alternate the rounds of the granny stitch, with the middle being a front post triple to US terms. It sounds a bit like the one I've been doing for the pot holder. Rounds of single crochet chain working on the grannies into the chain space, hitting the center limit. Ah, yes, 42 complete. Thank you, Elena says. Congratulations on 42. So let's check 43. There is a total of 44 rows. Row 43 is chain 2, blah, blah, puff. And then what I need to do in my popcorns is that's where I need to do just a regular double, but I do need to do back posts into those front posts. That should be easy. Should be. Let's see how many times I need to frog this row, just because I'm not paying attention. So we chain 2. We'll make a puff stitch. We'll close the puff stitch. We'll chain 2 again. We'll make a new puff stitch. There. And then we'll need to do a back post double crochet. And then I basically need to do 7 double crochets, back post double crochet, 7 double crochets, etc. until I get to the end. Should be simple, right? Ronan says she keeps hitting the character limit. I'm sorry, it's I can't change that. That's YouTube limits. It's called the Retro Vibes Square, I think, on Ravelry, but it's on YouTube. Oh, I'll need to check that out. And my yarn is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. It's also quite nice to work with. It is the Hobby Azalea yarn. I don't know if you know those. What I can do is I can go to this view. We'll just have a visit to the hobby website. Oh. This is the yarn. Currently definitely not on sale. And I'm using the colorway 6 here, which is the Royal Command. So this is the color I use. It's 52% cotton, 48% acrylic. It's 200 grams, so what's that in ounces? 7 ounces or something like that ish, close to 7 ounces. No, it's 705 ounces, or it's 800 meters and 875 yards. Classified as a fine weight. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, if you're asking me. It's a wonderful cotton blend that consists of 4 thin strands stick together without being spun together. This allows for the most amazing color gradients. The combination of the color and acrylic, cotton and acrylic results in a light, remarkably comfortable yarn that's breathable and soft. The acrylic adds some elasticity to the yarn, allowing it to keep its shape and not as heavy as 100% cotton. And then It's available in many gorgeous color combinations with the usual depth to colors. The large, lovely 200-gram cage runs impressive 800 meters. The beautiful colorations, blah. It's up to you which color you want to start and finish with, because you can start from the inside or the outside. Yeah, I started from the inside because that's light blue. You'll need one ball of Azalea for a shawl or a scarf, and you can combine it into several summer dresses, blouses, etc. for beautiful dye effects. But yeah, it's super gorgeous. I have these are the color options. So I use the Royal Command here. In my stash, I know I have the Home Bush laying as well. That's this green one. That's also gorgeous. And I do have this Berry Rose, which is gorgeous and even more gorgeous in real life. Not decided what to make with those yet. That is, I do believe, I'm unsure. I don't think I have the Aurora, but it could be I have it. I'm not sure. They do give you batch discounts if you buy multiple quantities. Or you just need to wait for them to be on sale. Knowing Hobby, Azalea is probably every 2 to 3 months there's a sale on them, and you can save somewhere between 30 and 50% per item, so per piece. 50% on the Azalea is very rare, so it's more like 40. But 40 is still a pretty good deal on these. They ship worldwide. Yeah, that purple is gorgeous, right? And this is also sort of like purple on the outside. It's blue or purple. I can't find out if that's outer edge here, if it's blue or purple on this Berry Rose. Aurora is definitely purple. I also like the Gibraltar, which is more like a teal green. This is gorgeous too. So they have Fireball, Pink Light, Homebush, Gibraltar, Persil, Royal Command, Berry Rose, Aurora, Polar Nights, and Harvest Moon. So they have 10 different colors in this Azalea yarn. They have plenty of other lovely, gorgeous cakes too, by the way. But this is really, it has a really nice soft and flow feeling to it. Yeah, that's not much to say. It's just it's quite nice yarn to work with actually. It is for individual strands that you do work with at the same time, paying a little bit attention. Most crocheters can definitely work with it. Elena says, thank you for showing the yarn. I don't know anyone who will go into such detail. I might just get some of this. Up to you. Welcome. I would say keep out for the sales actually, because maybe in a month or two they're on sale, or maybe next week. Hobby updates their sales every Tuesday. And the yarns, when they put them on sale, is usually for sale for 2 weeks' time. So the sales overlap every 2 weeks, or well, every week they overlap with a different week and a different week. So Ronan says, got happy one, still need to get around the project going to be a crocodile stitch cape for wearing to Ren fairs. Oh, that sounds awesome though. Yeah, I've done crocodile stitch gloves in the past. I don't know if I even have a photo of it. Could that be? I don't know if I still have a photo of the gloves I sold last, like that's almost 2 years ago even. Would I still have photos laying of those around? Could be. I have so much other laying around. I'm not so sure. I'm not so convinced right now, but maybe. Maybe on my phone. I sold them in, what was it, January 24? Yeah, here they are. Not the best way to view photos, but that's the only photo I have of them. But I did hand warmers, wrist warmers in the crocodile stitch. And that is in the Hobbies Carnival yarn, actually. Which is a little bit similar to, I do believe it's like landscapes or something like that. What is it called? I think it's Red Heart. I'm not 100% sure. But that is because I am not 100% on the home range with all these American brands, as I'm in Europe. So for me, a delivery of hobby takes me, usually I have it within the week. The quickest I've ever had a hobby order is 2 days. Like I ordered Monday and it was Wednesday afternoon here. Like that's the quickest ever. Roman says, nice, need to go for now, so I'll check back another time. Happy stitching, you're very welcome. Take care and have a great day. And you're very welcome, Ilana. I am more than happy to give away tips and tricks, especially for those small things like, we are all broke people. Or no, I'm not necessarily saying we all broke, but we all need to be mindful of how we spend our money. And if that means that we can save a couple of bucks here and there, that means that we can buy more yarn at another stage, right? Um, that's how I look at it. If we can save, let's say, 20 bucks on yarn, we can spend 20 bucks on yarn at another time. I have done lots of yarn hauls in the past, not doing them as much as I used to. The main reason is that I simply do not have the space, unless I would start to sell out of my stash. I could consider that, of course. Some of it I have considered, literally getting rid of by posting it on some of these local Dutch pages. We do have some local looking for yarn pages, so to say. Sometimes there are good deals, but I've also bought yarns there because there's been good deals. But I have a few yarns that I'm not necessarily think I'm going to be using at any time. And I have been considering if I should maybe just put them on there and see if people would be happy to pick up that. Yep, that looks correct so far. Lambrand's Landscapes, a red heart, unforgettable carnival. Yes, exactly, Susan. Or Michael's Facets. Ah, great, yes. Elena says, Tina's has been wonderful to crochet here with you. I'm so happy to have found your channel. I'll be back maybe Friday. Have to go for now. Have an awesome day. You're very welcome, Elena. I tend to, when I do go live, do it around 8 a.m. Eastern. And that's usually on weekdays, Monday and Wednesday, every second Monday and usually every Wednesday, unless I'm obviously not at home. And then I'll have my random video posts about yarns and crochet, basically all yarn content. And yes, we all need to save money for more yarn, definitely. Take care, Elena. It was absolutely wonderful to meet you. I look forward to see you here in another time. But yes, so I usually tend to go online by then, but also I just have my random pop-ups when time allows. But making a schedule these days is not always as easy due to basically real life kicking my ass sometimes. So I travel a lot to go to Denmark to see my family as my mom is ill. She is, though, doing a bit better. Um, the halfway PET scan was positive. And then, well, work basically. Tomorrow I need to do some catch up on work because I missed you guys. So technically, I should probably have spent an extra hour or two working today, but I decided I'm going to do that tomorrow instead because I missed you guys. I haven't been online live for like 2 weeks, so though I've been posting videos. You all were brought with me to Hobby 2 weeks ago, actually, exactly today. We visited Hobby, so the real physical hobby store in Copenhagen. Well, not in Copenhagen, actually, it's in Roskilde. And I may go there again. I'm likely to go there again in 2 weeks' time because I'll be in Denmark in 2 weeks again. So it could be that we'll go back and say hello to Hobby. That is definitely a possibility. Because I am not allowed to hang out at the hospital while my mom gets her treatment. And when the store is only a 20 minutes walk, why wouldn't I go there? I just need to make sure it's weather-wise, not raining with cats and dogs down. And what I did ask in that hobby video was actually if anyone had any specifics they would like me to dig deeper into when I was there, I'd be happy to do it because I am able to do it. They don't have everything there. I noticed the yarns that I got. Like they don't, for example, they do have Hobby's rainbow cotton, but they don't have the Friends. They also don't have the Hobby Friends wheel, but they just have the Hobby Twister. Do, do, do. But what was pretty nice when I was there was really I had the opportunity to feel some yarns that I haven't bought yet and I'm not super familiar with and really get this, oh, I'd love to have these yarns, like, and they don't have all of the yarns, like if there are non-store brands or non-owned brands that they sell, they didn't really have them in the store either, with the exception from a very few. That is also something I noticed. Yep. Still going the right direction here. Oh yeah, I forgot to say I have tea. Don't forget to drink. Mine is finally so cold I can actually drink it without burning my tongue. And it is the Nijmegen Trots, which is the pride of Nijmegen, which is a local tea blend, which I get in the local city just next door. It's been a while since I've been to the tea store though. But I do still have a fair bit on stash. I do have a few other teas that I drank as well, but today I felt like this one. And also it's gotten a temperature where drinking tea is nice again. When it's too warm, I don't drink as much tea. I do humbly admit that. I've actually been debating if I should get an extra tea mug, because I could bring it and leave it in Denmark, since I am traveling a fair bit back and forth. And when I'm there, most of the time I also work when I'm there, at least. Currently I am, because I'm able to. But yeah, that is where I hope they will extend my contract in the autumn. And that is also one of the reasons why I need to make sure everything is done tomorrow. But my boss is luckily a really nice, open-minded guy. He's like, as long as you get your work done, and it's reasonably spread across the week, he's fine with me also not doing, like, I just have some basic tasks I need to have done. And these are some of the extra tasks I need to get done, which I could have done today, but I wanted to go live instead. So I decided basically to go live and do that work tomorrow instead. And I have the time to do it tomorrow, so I'll be fine. This row so far is going a ton easier than the row before, when it comes to the mistakes of them, at least, or lack of. Hopefully, I'd rather have no mistakes, obviously. Two, 4, 6, 7. We are at the back post. Getting all the way to the end here. And then, my friends, we should have just one row to go. Once that's done, it's finished. Then we just need blocking and the buttons. I am unsure, as I said, if I will have time to do those buttons today. Maybe. If I do, cool. If I don't, okay. Well, I don't have time to do them today, but this week was the right term. We'll see. In any case, I'll need this semi-blocked regardless before sewing them on. So I'm not sure, because if we also want to go live Wednesday, I'll have to do the extra work. Then I need to squeeze it all in Thursday. And I don't know yet if anything else happens that causes me to be able or not able to. But yeah, that's my least concern. I'm happy if we just get this one finished up. And as I said, we do have some yarn left on the cake when I'm done with this, and that yarn I'm gonna put in my scrap pile. Or I may lay it where I also have, because it could be that I'll make a shawl which I can then extend with the extra yardage I have left here. So basically do a little bit of cutting and splitting them up so they are the right colorings, and then basically color control the yarns. Could be that from the other one I'll make an ultimate sacrifice shawl. I could do that. And then use the dark part as the heart, and then start with the other cake. I might do that. That could work up really nicely, I think. That is definitely something worth considering. It is nice color, this blue. One more puff and a double crochet, and then, my friends, row 43 is complete. What should probably do before doing row 44 is just to double check that I actually did it how I'm supposed to. Because we knew from the previous row that that looks good so far. But this was also easier because of the puff stitches. I'm just checking that I did remember those front posts, and I did all the way through. Awesome. You can barely not see them all that far away. Then it's almost a bit too dark. But we have the puff stitches in between here. With those doubles. Okay, row 44 and our last very row. We are gonna do chain 2, 1 puff, chain 2, 1 puff into that chain 2 space between the puff of the previous row. Then it's going to be skip the puff, yes, 1 front post double crochet about the back post previous row, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, 3 single crochets, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, and then 3 puff stitches into the front post double crochet. Chain 1, skip 2 stitches, etc. So it is like we're going to have some kind of small puff waves, puff fans on top of the popcorns. So we will start by chaining 2, then we'll turn the work around and we'll work in the puff stitches. So this is a row of puff stitches. 1, 2, and then I need to do 1 front post into that of the previous row, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, then we need to make 3 single crochets, chain 1, and then it's after the chain 1, let's see, blah, 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 chain 1, skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, then here we need to make the 3 puff stitches, 1, 2, 3. There is no chains between them, 1, 2, 3. So it's just basically make them and close them off, 1, 2, 3, and close it off, and then chain 1, skip 2 stitches, make 3 single crochets, so the end will look like this. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, here I had the chain 2, but the puff stitches only need 1 chain space in between. Okay. And that, my friends, all the way until the end. So we did 1, 2, 3, we'll chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and that is exactly at the top of the next front post. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3, and puff completed, and we'll make 2 more. And the extra, skip the 2, do 3 singles, chain 1, skip 2, etc. Easy. That said, this is probably the row with the most puff stitches. But it's only 1 row, and it's the last row, so we will get through it. don't forget to hydrate if you do have drinks next to you. Yes, it's tea weather today. It's been raining. Right now it's dry, but we've had some rain. It's been raining, then it's been dry, then it's been raining. A bit autumn-like weather almost, actually, because the sun has been shining in the background as well. So it's one of those days where you get rain and sun. Then after dinner, I have an appointment at the fitness center. We are going to look into some possibilities and like measure my starting point. And I think that's personally good for me because I like seeing progress. So it's a question of me being able to measure every so often to see if I am actually also making progress on what I'm doing. We had the color change right there, by the way. But as I said, this type of yarn is really a minimum what you can see. The color changes on this azalea yarn is so subtle. That is probably what makes it gorgeous. And yes, I do actually like that idea of using the remainder of this for an like combine it with the other cake I have and go for the ultimate sacrifice. I think that would turn out well. I need one more. Like that. Skip 2, 3 singles. Chain 1. 1, 2, 3. Finish off the puff. Make 2 more. Yeah. Puff stitches is quite yarn consuming. But we did know that. I'm also having a small trip to Germany this coming weekend. Well, it's just one day. But I still think I need something to work on in the car. So I need to look through and see what possible options I have. see what I can make. Bring it with me on the road. It's always good to have a car project, is what I call them. But that could also be, as I said, I wanted to start on the Capellina bucket hat or summer hat, and that could also be an option, but I just feel the pattern might be slightly too complex to easily bring with me in the car. I like simpler projects in the car where it's a bit more mindless. It allows you to think less, and then I can easier be present as a co-driver for my partner if he's the one that drives. It could also be that I get the honor of driving. I guess that depends on how tired he is when we leave in the morning. um, I actually had a fair amount of non-drive time when we drove home from Denmark. He drove the first piece to the ferry, and I'm very happy he did because we had some really bad weather. It was really, really raining heavily when we got closer to the region of where the ferry was. And then on the other side, he drove off the ferry, and then maybe the first 45 minutes or so, I took over the car. I drove past Hamburg, and then before Bremen, he took over, and he would drive the last piece actually home. So I ended up only driving maybe 2 hours of the trip home, which I definitely do not complain about. That's also why I got almost finished with this, that I didn't have that many rows to go, because a lot of these rows here, I did them in the car. So this is actually a good shawl for in the car when you're past this bit. Like this old bit is great for in a car. Because it's just so simple, right? I like simplicity. But also the ultimate sacrifice shawl isn't bad for the car either, because once you're past where you increase in the beginning, like the solid bit of increasing of the heart, once you've done that, it's also pretty straightforward. Once you have started doing the shells, it's so simple to make. It's such a simple shawl. It's wonderful design. Oh, yarn split on me. We'll retry. 2, 3 times with the yarn over and closing up. There it was. And it's the right stitch. Awesome. 1. And we need to close it. Skip 2 stitches, do 3 single crochets. Oh, we are getting closer to the end here. Like, look, we only have this much left. Oh, wrong stitch. That's 1, 2, closing. Ooh. Susan says that she just cast on a Ross hat in the Kern latte cake. Nice. Is Ross hat also one of these Ravelry patterns? Could I find it on Ravelry if I wanted to have a look at it? He's a content creator. Ah, okay. I don't think I've heard of the Russ hat before. I have been debating on actually. I have this idea for a hat design that I want to try, but I'm not there yet. Because I have a few other things I need to wrap up first, I think. I love the pattern because it gives the options in 4 different yarn weights. Oh, that's nice. That is definitely nice. It reminds me a bit of that double rib pattern, rib knit. So 2 rib, 2 knit, 2 rib knit, like 2 purl, 2 knit, 2 purl, 2 knit would probably be more correct. That I got, which is basically from the bottom to the top. I like that because the pattern also describes how many stitches to cast on depending on what pen you use or what size of needles you use. Though it only goes to I think 6.5, 7 millimeters or something like that. But I like that idea too because you can then basically work with the yarn you'd like to work with, right? You're not as dependent on finding a yarn that matches the gauge or the size or whatnot. It's a basic hat, so quick and easy for donations. Yeah, that's what we like too sometimes, easy and quick. I do just have some yarns that I'm thinking I might end up just like at some stage I tried to sell them, but people weren't that interested. And now I'm considering if I should just double strand them and make some simple knit beanies of them, of some of this yarn. I think that will work up nicer, probably. And I need a gun for my stash in any case. I have a bit of that yarn. I need a gun from my stash. And some of it I've just come to the conclusion maybe I just need to knit hats. It would be fine with a hat. It's not much yarn. It's gone. I'm still trying to, I wouldn't say bust my stash because I know that's not going to happen. But we're still trying to decrease it a bit. I work from my stash and not pattern first. Yeah, I need to start do that maybe. Look at my stash and be like, okay, you are next. That's actually not a bad idea. Sometimes I look at the pattern and I'm like, what yarn do I have in my stash? But on the other hand, a lot of the yarns I did get with specific intentions in mind, with the only exception of yarn cakes. Yarn cakes I just bought with, I'm gonna make a shawl. I don't know what shawl, but it'll become a shawl. Yeah. We are at the end. I just need 2 and a front post. My goodness. Almost finished. Just have to double check when we're done, of course. Susan says she has fun shopping her stash and using up some yarn. I should have more fun shop my own stash. Honestly, the sorting my stash last year almost felt like yarn shopping because I really I really noticed a lot of yarn where I was like, oh, I have this in my stash? Oh, nice. Oh, I bought this too at some stage? Oh, cool. I wonder what I thought I should make with it. There we have it. And this looks pretty even to me. Yeah. But that's a good thing about this type. It's impossible not to make even. Oh, well, technically I might have a tiny extra stitch over here I shouldn't have had. Or maybe it's, I don't. I don't know. It's cool. Yeah, but the rest looks similar, so it's fine. I have the feeling there's an extra, but there isn't. It's because one of them is a bit loose. We're done! What does this mean? It means that, oh my goodness, I got stuck. It means that I can cut the end and weave an ends. Hallelujah! Cut. Done. For those being curious, this, my friends, is how much is left of that cake. And that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit dusty at the bottom. I'm going to use this cake for probably increasing another cake size. I have one more, this, and if I use that also from the center light blue, I can easily do that. The Hobby Azalea, Royal Command, colorway 6. That is what was left of it. And what we are going to do now is basically wrap this one up and weave in some ends, and then it's ready for a good block, which is not going to happen today. Could if I wanted to tonight. It's probably more realistic that I'll find some time. I'm not going to work all of the day tomorrow, but I'll do have some extra work to do. That I will have time to put it on the blocking board tomorrow. But yeah, it's actually quite awesome to be able to call this finished. Woohoo. So we are almost also done weaving in end one. I still have the Easy Start tab on here. Now it's gone. And then I can say officially that the crocheting bits of this project, ladies and gentlemen, have been completed. I just need to check what we can we better do here. So the only thing I did slightly ever so differently is that I did not do a chain to start this project with. Instead, I did a double crochet foundation. It's time to make buttons. You are very correct about that. It's not something that I can easily do here on the stream, unfortunately. I would have a completely different setup for that. But yes, I'll need to get it blocked and make some buttons. The creator, Red Teapot Atelier or Ines, personally doesn't find this project needs blocking. I do find it needs blocking mainly for the picot stitches here, because they're not all turning the same direction, so they're not showing us lovely on the piece as they could. So I'd like to do the blocking to kind of intricate the design. Oh, that is not going as expected on this side. That was better. But yes, we just have the button bit to go and a little bit of blocking. And I thought I wouldn't have had to say that today, but it's actually getting so warm that I'm considering dropping my sweater. So I'll do that. Oops, while I'm at it as well. Just need to cut this very tiny, tiny thread. Ta-ta. And remove one stitch marker, which I had used to indicate when I started doing specific repeats. So, more stitch markers. Hello, Jana. I am making the GingerTea Cowl. I'm now missing buttons. But the buttons I have to create, plus I need to block this, so the crochet bit of this is complete. Once the buttons are made, they will need to be sewn on down here. 4 buttons, like I do believe, let's see, it's gonna be like one there, like, or they're being sewn on here, 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 and there, something like that. The cowl, let's see if I can actually pop up and do just chatting. So I'll need to pop up here. That looks so dark, doesn't it? Just brighten us up a bit and pop over so you just see me one screen. Oh, a bit down actually. The idea is that you have the buttons over here and that you can button it. So this piece goes over the buttons. You have all these lovely holes to cover those buttons with. I'm just not really sure why it's because it's, well, it's looking a bit funky right now. Probably because it's not blocked and I don't have the buttons in, but the idea is that it should turn into a cowl, but I have the feeling it's a bit, and it's because it's not stretched. So yeah, I personally think it needs blocking. And I would probably do it nicer if I was used to it. Or it's my neck that's too big and thick, but I'm not even that thick of a neck. I will show the pattern on the hobby site actually. You can also get that pattern from oh, maybe I need to find it on Ravelry instead. Ravelry. I did get my pattern on Hobby back when they had Hobby Plus. It was a free pattern download for Hobby Plus. I am gonna just pop over to here so you can like join me. Use advanced search maybe. GingerTea. Here. That's kind of the concept. But apparently I totally fail at placing it correctly. But there you have it. That's the idea, except mine is blue. Yeah, and I have the feeling while the author says that she doesn't recommend blocking, she thinks it's nice without. I think it needs blocking. Definitely when I look at the fit on me, I should have the right length. As the pattern says, let's see, there is some place where it says measure. Now I'm sort of sharing the pattern without sharing it, but let's say somewhere. At this point, your shell should measure approximately 85 centimeters. So what does it measure now is the question. It did at some stage. I haven't measured a lot after that initial one. It measures, well, it measures a bit shorter. It's definitely not at 85, but it was at the beginning. So I think it's been shrinking a bit with the crocheting. But when I stretch it out, it will definitely measure the right again. I'll be fine. I just need to block this piece. That is my solution. And I'll need to create 4 buttons. Let's see, that's not the wanted to. I just need to create. So this is like one option, button-wise, which I made myself. I just don't want to use purple, of course. I want to make them blue. And yeah, I do need a little bit of blocking because it's kind of scrunched up after. But that's fine. The start point was when I had made the foundation chain, and I think the first bits, it was actually the right length. So maybe if I measure that up there, it should be fine as well. No, I don't need it in inches. I need it in centimeters, please. Yeah, it's like 84 on top. So I just need a little bit of blocking to stretch it and make it look nice and make the buttons, and then we'll be fine. And it will also look as how it's supposed to be looking, because this time it felt a little bit on the short side. But it's super gorgeous. I like definitely how this turned out. The real question is, so next step for this one is blocking. And I need to make some buttons. But we still have like 45 minutes or so left. We have 2 options work-wise. We can start on the Capelina bucket hat, which is made in the Drops Cotton Lights, or as if you saw last week's yarn talk video, Friday's yarn talk video, I started on this friend, except this top square should have had the same size as the bottom square, and it doesn't matter how much I stretch in this. Oh, not this. Yeah, it will just about, but it won't keep shape. So blocking it won't make sense. So I need to make this one again, but make sure that I take adjustment for the fact that my tension is tight. So when I make these front post trebles, I give them a little bit more space. That's what I forgot to do, and that is why they bend in on the middle, because that's where there are more and more of these. So I did it towards the end, but I didn't do it in the beginning, and that was my mistake. So I can do that. I still don't know what I'm going to use this one for. I've weaved in the ends and everything. This is the back side. I guess it could be like you could place a warm pot on it. That would probably work though. Yeah, that would probably work. It's not too unaligned on that account. Maybe that could work. That's option 1, that I'll start on this. And option 2 is the Capellina bucket hat, which I will find the pattern for in a moment. And that is a drops design, and don't ask me why I get the idea that it's a great idea to make. I don't know why. Let's see, it's crochet, and it's done in the yarn of cotton light, and it's right here. It's just a different color, but still. Let's pop over this window. Here we have it. And I have the yarns for that in a light blue. So this is not for now. So we can either work on the granny square and see if I can actually make it correct. It's something I have to do at some stage. And if I can't do, then I'll need to get more yarn, which is yeah, when it's on sale, because I don't have enough to make 2 pot holders. Sad but true. So this is the yarn I have for the Capellina bucket hat. So that's option 1. This gorgeous light blue. Drops cotton light, which is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. It's classified as the yarn group B, which is like a DK weight. It's a 50-gram skein, so 1.75 ounces to 105 meters, 115 yards. So that's option 1, that would do the Capellina hat. And option 2 is that I'll try to fix this mistake, because I have the yarns right here. But I won't have enough to make 2. But I need to see if I can make 1. So yeah, we need to decide. Am I gonna see if I can make the second one of these? That is a lot of sewing in ends. That's only downside. Of course, there's 4 colors here. There's one, if you can see closer up here, we have a very light in the center, and then it's somewhat lighter, and then go into this fuchsia like before we go to the dark purple. I like how the color changes go here as well, but I should fix and then go hat. Yeah, I probably should. I should attempt to fix and then go hat. So hat yarn goes away. And then I need to find my 1.75 millimeter hook. Pattern calls for 3 millimeter, but I had the feeling that was just too tiny for me. So I went with the 3.25. I could have done the 3.5 probably. But yeah, I didn't. So we'll go back to our jewel view. We'll pop back down if it wants to. Have some inspiration. I think, I don't know, over there. Pop this one, and this is the Hobby Yarns Hobby Friends Cotton 8/8 that I'm using. I am working it from Hobbies. There is a free pattern they have there. It's a mosaic pot holder, granny square pot holder alike thing. So this is supposed to go and become the same size as my granny square here, and then you crochet them together doing single crochets around. But that kind of requires this to be the same size of this, and it's not because it's curvy. The edges is perfect, like the corner's perfect, but this is curvy, and that is where the mistake is. And I should have known to pay better attention, but I just didn't. So it's fundamentally my own fault. So maybe this could be used as just, to place a warm pot on, maybe. I don't know if it's thick enough or if one would want to add some extra. So. So we'll start with a magic ring. And then I do stacked single crochets instead of a treble, a double, sorry, a double crochet, because it just seems much more logic to me. But here at the beginning, it's just frock it. I can't frock this. It's not gonna be enough yarn. It's I've weaved the ends so well. That's my problem. I weave the ends in so well that trying to frock it, it's gonna destroy it, and I might or might not have decent yarn left. I've tried it so many times to frock projects I've already woven in ends. Not possible. I just do it too well. So no, it's not gonna bother me. I'm just gonna do something else with this. I just don't know what yet. I'm gonna find a purpose for it. No, you could probably like place something warm on it. Bit small, but it has decent thickness, so you probably could place something on it. I think. Or make it something underneath a pot plant. If you have like a glass table, that could work. It's not too bad. 2 double crochet, chain 2. So this is just like the classic granny stitch, basically. And Susan, it gives me an excuse to buy yarn if this succeeds. And if this one doesn't succeed, then it's not meant to be, and then that's just how it's going to be. I don't want, this is like, if I should have been able to frock this, I shouldn't have weaved in the ends. And I already frocked it once because I had the feeling it was not what I wanted to do. That was when I upsized the crochet hook. And that was luckily before I had started to weave in ends. In hindsight, I should have been more awake when I did it, but I was on vacation. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm not gonna frock it. I'm just gonna find a different purpose for it. It's gonna find a different purpose in life. It's a sort of finished item. I could also consider folding it like this, crochet up the sides, then do something like on the inside, put a zipper in. You have like a pen pouch or even a pouch that fits your crochet hooks, if that's what one wanted to do. But I think the idea of like just having it as a placemat is probably not a bad idea. That could work. So it's probably just going to be a placemat, I think. So that is going to be its purpose in life. I think it's going to be like a placemat or, yeah, a holder of sorts. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea. Then we need to slip stitch to the corner. So yeah, while I at some place would love to be able to just frog it, I need to basically make sure I don't need to frog things before I weave in ends. That's a rule of thumb I have. If the ends are woven in, I'm not frogging it because it's too much work to find where I did weave in the end and to frog it in a way that's, yeah, keeping the yarn intact. So instead, I use it as an excuse to buy yarn once this yarn is on sale again. But right now it's simple. It's just granny square. It's first in the next round that we'll start to do those front post trebles that cause my work to be unaligned. So doing the granny squares here is not the issue. So yeah, I do like the idea of frocking, but I know it's like the yarns will be too short. I will have to weave in extra ends, cut the yarn. Still not sure if that would actually leave me enough of the yarn where I have the least of, or should have the least left of. So let's first see if I can actually make one in the correct size. How it's supposed to be. Granny square, except I need to only do 2 rounds here, so I need to pull that one out, cut the yarn, weave in ends. So far it's squared, and if I'm clever, I'll have my little comparison square. So that is what I should have done, is actually make the perfect little granny square. And conclude, the corners match. And they're also nicely aligned. So that is perfect. You just need to cut yarn, weave in ends. And yeah, maybe it's not gonna be, and then it's not gonna be, and then I'm gonna be I guess. Fine with it. Could probably, it's maybe a bit long end, but that's cool. This is the back side. As they're being sewn together, it doesn't need to be perfect when I weave in the ends on the back side. I just need to do it half decent. Is my personal opinion. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here on the top side. Like twisted. But honestly, it's just going to contain some stitches, so it does look a bit funny. It shouldn't twist. But yeah, so nope, I'm not gonna destroy that granny square. I could have, but I'm not. This looks better. But yeah, you already get the idea here. I tend to weave in my ends well done. Which is good because then they don't come undone. That's kind of my biggest fear, that I wove in ends and suddenly they're undone. Yeah, we don't want that to be the case today either, so I just gotta make this one good, which shouldn't be a problem if I just keep my wits about it and not only just keep my wits about it, but follow the plan. That was fundamentally the issue with why the other one failed. I should have thought, should have been keep thinking. I forgot to think when I made it. I was just so hyper getting started on it because I desperately wanted to start on it. And then I forgot to keep all sane process about so perfect little baby granny. Now we just need the next color. Which we have right there. So that is kind of the color change. As you can see, it's not big. That's actually quite difficult to see in the camera. Kind of sad, but it's better actually on this camera up here, up in the corner. La, 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 la. Here. We'll start it up in the corner for easiness of things. Okay, good. You can see the difference, Jana. Great. I was almost wondering if it was possible because I get the difference is really slight. And what we do with this one is that we crochet over that starting thread so there is less end to weave in. It's also slightly easier, I think, when you see it here, you can see there's a color difference. But it's easier to see up on this camera, maybe. I don't know. Something funky happened to that yarn. Just redoing it. Okay, so now is where we deviate from the normal granny stitch. So basically done run round, 2 rounds normal, did the corner, and then normally you would like chain 1 and work in 3 double crochets. Sometimes you also just do the double crochets without chaining 1. It kind of depends on what type of granny square pattern you are. Here we chain 1, and here we start by working in a double crochet. So no, oh, if the yarn wouldn't split on me. And the yarn does tend to split a bit more because I use a smaller hook, but that's what the pattern says. So now the deviation comes. We have to do a front post treble, but I have to do that in the double crochet of round 1. So we need to skip that whole thing, but that treble double is what kind of makes it go all like, you know, because my tension is so tight, that goes all the way down there. But I'll need to pull it up a bit and then do the treble. That is my conclusion. Then I'll need to do another double. And that is then that stitch in that center. And since I pulled it up, I think we're good. I pulled it up a bit more. And that's what I didn't do here on this one. I didn't pull up the height a bit. So technically it should probably be a front post quadruple. If that would be the right, or double double, something like that. So I think that is where my mistake goes in, that my tension is just so tight that even with a treble front post here, it's not enough to make up that height difference that I need. So I chained 1 again, and then I'll go to the corner. I'll make a classic corner, so that is the 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles in that corner stitch. Yarn split on me. So that is I think if I were to make these in the future, I'd probably upsize the hook as well. To just a slightly larger 3.5, maybe 3.75. And that could still work with this yarn, I think. And that's just based on, I know that my tension is pretty tight. And that would cause me to have fewer issues with the splitting of this yarn. So we'll chain 1, do the 1 double, and then we need to do again the front post treble. But as I said, the front post treble, if I do it normally, it's proven to be too short because that is why it curves in the edges here. So we'll still do the front post treble. But before doing it, I do pull a little bit extra up, so we do have a bit more distance to work with, if that makes sense. And then I need to do another double into that space. And that's kind of how you get these lifted sizes. See, I actually see the coloring now when we're down here. We need to go back to the darker version, so it's slightly easier to see, I think. And that's so easy to see now the color difference here. It's because we had it up for the face view and that was really dark. So I do need to handle those stream colorings on the camera. How much saturation it has. So we are at the corner where we do this classic corner, granny corner. We chain 1, we do a double in the space, then we need to do the treble, where we need to pull up extra distance on that treble to ensure we don't get that pull. And then onwards with a double, chain 1, another granny corner, so 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 3 double crochets into the space, chain 2, and then 3 double crochets again. 1, 2. Oh, yarn split. Susan says, forgot, what are you making with those squares? Pot holders. Pot holders, it's gonna be. If I with this would have wanted to make, like, let's say ponchos or something else, I would definitely have used a bigger hook, because then this hook is way too small. And that is why I think this could also be used just as a placemat, right? Like, imagine you having a pot on a glass table. You could put this below, or a wooden table like this one. For example, this table is really sensitive to moist, so if I place a vase with flowers on it, I need to have something underneath that can pick up the moist, because if the moist goes on this table and sits there for more like 10 minutes, I get white stains on the table, which is really not fun. I already had a few. So my thought is it could be used for that. I could just use this as a placeholder underneath a vase. If I get flowers, I can place this underneath. So it still has purpose. I just don't have enough yarn to finish 2 pot holders anymore. Because, well... But first, I want to see if I can actually make pot holders without this indentation that I have here. And this is already a bit less than it was here in the beginning, because you can kind of see it gotten less a bit. You can see in the beginning it's kind of etching in here. And it's even, I stretched it a bit, but I can't stretch it out enough to not do it. So the issue I had is basically as simple as I need to pull up a bit more on the treble before starting doing the treble, so I get the right heights. And that is because my tension is so tight. And with a smaller hook, it just gets even tighter when it's thicker yarn like this. Chain 1, and then we'll slip stitch into that first stitch in the corner. So we'll just pull up the yarn a bit. So this, my friends, was row 3. It still looks even, I would say. Looks like it's supposed to. Win for me. Win for me. Now, for round 4, I need to slip stitch to the next granny corner space. So that is what I will do. That is slip stitched over. And then we'll, as I said, I prefer doing the stacked double crochet. So that's 2 single crochet stacked on top of each other to replace the chain. I think it looks nicer on the finished product. Then I'll make the classic granny corner again. This color I go with for 3 rows. Looks like that's a downside, as I said, with this tiny size of needle, is that I tend to make this yarn split a bit more than normal. And this is not a yarn that normally splits a lot on me, but it's simply because I'm with a smaller hook than I normally would do. So now on the 4th round, we in these spaces we need to do the 1 double crochet and then the treble crochet, front post treble, in the previous row. So in row 2, and not row 3, because row 3 is where the chain space is. So we'll do that. And again, I need to remember to pull up a bit of extra yarn to ensure there is enough to work with. And to ensure, hopefully, that it doesn't curve in. We will know in a few rows if this is working, but so far it looks better. So we'll do another single crochet. Then we'll have another of these where we do the double crochet and the treble front post, where we again, as I said, need to pull up a little bit of extra yarn to have enough to ensure the height of the treble crochet, because the treble crochet, it's just a treble, but it technically needs to cover 2 rows, or maybe this pattern is written in English terms, but I can't imagine because they say double crochet, which is the double crochets. But I would say it should probably more have been a quadruple front post quadruple crochet. It's not treble, then it's what is quadruple. Like yarn over 3 times. That would have probably given me the height as well. But now I'm doing it like this. And it still looks nice, so we're cool. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna finish this round, and that's probably gonna be close to where we need to end the stream. I still need to empty our dishwasher, and I need to prep for dinner, and then we can option to say we'll work on this for Wednesday's live stream, because we are going live again on Wednesday. And maybe we can finish it then. That would be realistic, I would say. Hello, Catnaps, and welcome to this live. Hope you're having a great day. Hello. Happy to have you with us. I am trying to fix my granny square, which I'm going to use as pot holder. It needs to be crocheted together with a granny square that's just a standard granny square, boring, flat, plain. This one doesn't fit. The corners fit perfectly, but because I did not forget to, I basically didn't consider tension. So that messed up my square. And that is why I am trying to make a new one here to see if I can actually even make it. And if that's the case, I will need to order some more yarn because I won't have enough yarn to finish this. It's actually raining here right now. Has been both sunny and rainy here in the Netherlands. But right now it's back to rain. You can enter weather and then your city or zip code, and then Nightbot should actually pop your local weather. I am in the Netherlands, not far off the city of Nijmegen. So if I type in weather and Nijmegen, then Nightbot should tell us what weather we have. It's currently rain with a temperature of 67 degrees Fahrenheit, about 90 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from the northwest at 8 miles per hour. The current humidity is 69. Well, yeah, it's raining. Just started raining again. It's been dry for a bit, now it's raining again. It's a day with mixed showers, some sun. And we'll pull up a bit of extra yarn here to ensure the height my front post treble. Still looks like we are doing good. So that does make me happy. Chain 1, we'll go to the corner where we'll have to do the classic granny square corner. Chain 1, then we'll do the double crochet, and then we'll prepare for this treble crochet, which is in basically in the second row, that center stitch of the corner. We'll pull up a bit of extra yarn so we do know we should have the height. We'll finish off this space with a double crochet in the space. And then we'll chain 1. We'll go to the next spacing. Do a double crochet. Do this elongated treble, I should rather call it. And then another double. Chain 1, and then we'll need to slide that as a slip stitch into that very first stitch of the row. Since we do color 2 for 3 rows, what I will do is I am just gonna slip stitch this friend over to that corner. Looking at the time, could probably start on the corner here, and that's then where we will, shouldn't, just slip stitch over to the corner is good. And then I'll need to find a stitch marker, because what we need to do is we also need to check if it's still squared. Should be, technically. This should still be nice squared. Do need to watch out a bit, but it is, I would say, still reasonably squared. Wouldn't you say? Because we have some center. Yeah, it looks squared. Looks good. It looks like we have the right direction. I think it's the right choice what I'm doing with the somewhat more elongated to help cover here over the stitch length that I'm feeling short by only doing a treble front post. I need to do one more round of this, then we're changing to this fuchsia color for 3 rounds, and we're changing then to the purple for 3 rounds, and then hopefully this should be a nice square when done. And this one, I think I'm just going to keep it as a placemat for under a vase. So it's not missed its purpose. It's, yeah, I've decided what to do with it. It's going to be a placemat for flowers. Perfect, 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 perfect. So what I am going to do now is that I am going to start saying, let's see, if we pop over to the just chatting, because we are just chatting. That's pretty much it for today. It's 5 p.m. here. in the Netherlands. And 5 p.m. means that I need to start prep for some dinner, because else I will have a hungry partner tonight, and he's not going to be that pleasant when he's hungry. Well, actually, I'm worse, but I need to make sure that that's settled. So I will be, if everything goes well and nothing goes crazy at work, I'll be live again on Wednesday, starting around 2 p.m. Central European time. That's like 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, and 5 a.m. if you are all the way over there in California. That's the plan currently for this week. And I think we'll proceed with this Granny Square on Wednesday. I think that's a good plan. Meanwhile, I can get to look for a blocking the shawl, the cowl we made, which we finished. It needs a little bit of blocking, and we need to create some buttons to make this a button cowl version for it. Yeah, and I need to start finding some new projects. Feel free to provide suggestions. You're always welcome to do so. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I very much appreciate you spending time with me. I had some great input from you guys. It was so wonderful hanging out with you guys. I've really been missing you for the last 2 weeks, and looking forward to spend more time with you on a Wednesday. So I'm gonna say, yeah, thank you. Take care and happy crafting until I see you again. And I'll just hang on to see the weather for New Jersey. Right now in New Jersey, it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit, so about 30 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from a northwest at 6 miles per hour, and it is sunny there. You are welcome to send me the sun, though I'm happy to keep my about, well, 70, 75 degrees Fahrenheit would be nice, and sun. That would be perfect for here. But today it's raining, a little bit colder. That's fine. So, yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone. Have fun crafting, and let's have fun again on Wednesday together. Bye.